Hey, church. Welcome to the Just Like You podcast. We're so happy that you're here to join us today. You're on the podcast with Sorzy.
And MJ.
And we have a great episode for you. We have a wonderful guest, and we'll introduce him now. His name is Josh.
How's it going?
Or Joshua. What can you say what your mom says when you get in trouble?
That would be my full name, Joshua Andrew Mahon. Those three words are nightmare
It's not
fuel.
Mahon.
It's not
No, it's not Mahon. For
We're
those
here to dispel a common myth. He's not related to Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Very sad.
Unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Josh, you're just coming from class?
No, coming from home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm skipping class to be here, but
Oh,
Wow. That's dedication to the podcast. Thank
I was
you.
like, it's a class that I could just look at the slides and it's going to be the same. So
What class is it?
That's a good question, actually.
Haven't yet
Fluid
looked at the
mechanics.
slide.
Fluid
Oh,
mechanics.
Fluid
Yeah,
mechanics.
Wow.
Yeah. It's gotten to a point where I just show up to a building at a certain time and I figure out what class it is when I get there.
Wow.
That's so
Yeah.
fair. What's your class schedule like? Are there days that are full, kind of 9 to 5? Is it pretty spread out?
It's pretty spread out for the most part, I'd say. Like Monday tends to be the worst. It like starts at,
Do you have class every day?
yeah, I got class every day. I got 6 courses, so it's tight.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Monday's the worst of it. Bi-weekly, I have 1:30 to 8:30, which is not nice. So
That's so yucky.
yeah, figuring out meals is interesting.
Yeah.
But you have the whole morning off.
Yeah, that's true. That is
That's
true.
so sweet.
It's nice. Yeah.
Are you an early riser?
What's your preferred time of the day?
What hour is your favorite?
I can be both. I can be an early morning person or late at night. It depends what I need to be at the
Versatile.
time. Yeah. Like if it's
Adaptable is the
Yes,
word
yeah.
I'd use there.
if it's the school year, you will have a very hard time getting me out of bed before like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
but
I
like-
feel like that's a very reasonable time.
Yeah, I think so too. But like during the summer when I was working, I'd be up at like 5:45 every morning. So I can do both.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I got up at 5:45 for like 2 day shifts in a row, and I'm just like gassed for a whole
To the
day.
end of it. Naps are what I found helps a lot. Just
True.
got to nap it out afterwards.
What's your strategy? Because I know sometimes if you nap for too long, it's like,
You actually get a lot
Yeah.
more groggy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
What's your nap routine?
like good hour and a half. It's usually
Okay.
too long, and then I wake up and I don't know what's what anymore. I'm like in a different dimension.
It's
just,
like the
you know,
disorienting
Yeah.
naps where you're like, who am I? What day
Yeah.
is it?
you're sweating, socks on the other side of the room. You're like, what's happened? Yeah.
You sleep with socks?
No. Well, if I nap, I'm not gonna like, yeah, till full time, ready for bed. You know, let's get the pajamas on. No, it's a nap. I'm right into bed. Done. That's it.
True. That's fair. Wow. Okay, I feel like we haven't even done the icebreaker.
Ice is broken.
The ice
Yeah,
is
I
broken.
feel like it's nice and now gone.
So we'll just do like more of the actual formal-ish intro where you say your name, your program, your year, anything else? Your region. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Joshua or Josh. Last name's Mahon. I'm in my 3rd year. I'm in the automotive engineering stream of the Bachelor of Technology program here at McMaster.
Question.
Yeah.
So do you get a Bachelor of Engineering with it?
No, I don't. It's deeply unfortunate.
Is
I
it
get
the Technology?
yeah, Bachelor of Technology, which means I don't get a ring, like the iron ring.
That's
It
so
sucks.
unfortunate.
We used to be able to until the PEO, Professional Engineers of Ontario, decided they had a problem with us.
When was that?
Tail end of 1st year.
That's
So
really
like I'd
sad.
already committed to the program. Like, hey, you don't get a ring anymore. I'm like, wait, what?
Wow, that was so recent.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it is what it is.
Was it
Why
like a
would you
different kind of
even-
ring though?
No, it's the same. Like you didn't get a ring when you graduate, but you have to do like another exam or another 2 exams, 4 years of work, and then you get the ring. But now that doesn't exist anymore. Like I think I still can do it
Oh,
through
I
like
see.
Alberta or something, but through Ontario it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
Why do engineers even do what they do if not to get a ring?
Yeah, no, building things, who needs that? No.
No.
Yeah, no, just it's
It's
that
really
ring.
just to have a ring.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, you're in third year B Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And you're at the McMaster region. Yeah. Okay, icebreaker question. What do we have for you? I know it if you know it.
I did know it. I do know it.
Did it
It's
escape you?
no. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what are you eating?
Rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
One meal.
Jordan claims that this is a question that explains a lot about a person.
Yeah.
When you say meal, is it like many different things, or is it like
Oh, no,
a
like
thing?
one dish, one dish.
One dish.
dish.
One type of sauce. It's not like, variations of chicken, rice, and broccoli, because you could do
A lot with that.
so
Yeah.
many.
Sushi. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I was like
Good answer.
half raised on like Asian food, so sushi is the peak of that in my mind.
Okay.
This guy's Asian.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh, that's dope. What's your favorite roll?
I feel like that changes depending on where you go, like a lot of the time.
Okay.
Like they'll just have this whack new roll that you love, and then you go somewhere else, and it's like we've never heard of this. What are you on about?
What's your spot in Hamilton then?
Actually, haven't gone to one in Hamilton yet. I know there's one
Really?
like just on Main Street here.
Yeah.
But
There's a couple on Maine, I think.
oh yeah, I've only seen the one, but I'm sure there's a few. There's one back, well, I guess not quite home, but direction of home in Bolton, called Sushi Date that used to go to a lot. And
Where's home for you?
it's a tiny town called Mahon. It's near Orangeville. Is the closest larger city.
True.
How many people are there?
I don't know. 4. It's not. No, no, it's more than that. It's tiny though. It's like
Okay.
It's like
your-
10,000.
Probably. It's like your
Okay.
next door neighbor isn't your next door neighbor. It's like, oh, maybe like that direction, go a kilometer, and maybe you'll find someone.
Wow.
Not quite that bad, but sort of.
True.
So you guys don't have next door neighbors?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. And you still, wow.
No,
Okay.
it's a sad life.
I feel like in the
No
past
neighbors.
5 minutes, we've gotten a lot of information from you. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick.
That's good. Okay. Ice has definitely been broken. I think we're good. I think we're getting comfortable. Let's do piece of scripture that's been most influential in your life or in your walk with Christ.
Probably Matthew 6. I think it's verse 25. 25, I think, to the end. It's that chunk that talks about, like, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. The sparrow analogy, all that. For me, that's been quite comforting because, like, a lot of times I can tend to, like, overthink about something. And then, like, oh, this assignment or getting co-op or an exam or something like that. And your head starts spiraling. Like, okay, just you read that, take a deep breath. God's got it. Don't need to worry about it.
That's good.
Yeah, that's dope.
We all need to hear that often.
Yeah, we forget it easily.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those verses that you can easily be like, I've heard it 100 times.
Yeah.
But it's like every single time that you hear it, it's still needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always applicable to life.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Well, Josh, you got a pretty cool story for us today. I was, pretty interested in what it looked like growing up, specifically because you were homeschooled till high school?
Yeah, till grade 9.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get into it.
Sure. I grew up homeschooled. My mom homeschooled me and my brother till JK till grade 9.
You have just your brother?
Just my brother, yeah.
Okay.
A
Younger?
little bit older, 15 months, I think. He knows the number exactly.
Oh, okay.
He always
like-
always reminded you.
Yeah, you're this much younger, so act like it. But yeah, I grew up in a Christian family. My mom and my dad are both very strong Christians.
Okay.
So as I was homeschooled, I would spend the whole day with my mom and my brother, and so she would, teach us about, walk in faith and Christianity and all that. And yeah, that's, I guess, where I learned about it, and that's where it started.
That's good. And you said when you were being homeschooled that your mom would you would do like a chapter or two a day as part of, was it like, did she intertwine it into your like homeschooling curriculum?
Yeah, sort of.
Like a chapter or two of the Bible.
Yeah, of the Bible. Yeah.
Oh.
We knew what we were talking about.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
so
for the clarification.
yeah, first thing in the morning.
Wait, when did this start?
As long as I can remember, honestly.
Like how old were you?
I don't know, 4, 5 maybe.
That's
Early.
awesome.
What, reading the King James version?
Yeah. I have no idea what it says.
Did it start with like the action and adventure Bible? And
Yeah,
then
we had I had a kid's Bible.
Oh, one with the pictures.
And then it was just called the Action Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's
that's good stuff right there.
That's awesome.
Brings back some memories. I think I still have it somewhere.
Nice.
But yeah, it started with that, and then every morning, first thing we would do, I would go downstairs and then read like, I don't know, a chapter or two. Actually, no, I don't think it was chapters. It was time-based. It's like you read for 45 minutes or half hour or
Wow.
something
so it
like that.
exponentially became more.
More and more as time went on. Yeah, you just blow through a whole book in one go.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it sort of started there. And a lot of the time I felt like, you're 6 years old or whatever. You mostly don't understand what you're reading, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it sort of just became, growing up, like a thing of something you do because your mom told you to, and this is how
Yeah.
you start your day. And it's just
Yeah.
most of the time I wouldn't even be reading. As the mom goes by, you look down to make it look like you're reading, and then when
Yeah.
she's gone, you just start daydreaming or stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the time?
What do you mean the time?
Like you said, you sat down for like a time.
Oh yeah, like 45 minutes probably.
Wow.
It may have been an hour at some point.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. And looking back, you're like, how great it is that my parents like really wanted to like set their kids
Oh, yeah.
up for success
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
and like have that foundation of knowledge of Christ. And you probably, like in the moment it's like, Mom.
Yep. No, in the moment you don't realize how beneficial it is, but hindsight's 20/20, and you look back and like that was a good thing to do.
Yeah. So you grew up homeschooled, and then high school comes around. You went to a Christian high school.
Yeah, went to TDCH in Woodbridge. Yeah.
Nice. How was being homeschooled to now going to a big school? Was it a big school?
No, not really.
Okay.
Our class was about 100 kids.
Okay.
So pretty small.
Wow.
Yeah. Over time, you kind of know everyone's name. By,
That's kind of sick though.
It's nice. It's really nice.
My high school was like that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it was cool.
Mine too, actually.
But yeah, coming out of homeschooling into that was a little, I knew it was going to be a change. Like obviously you go from 3 people to now it's 100 people plus teachers or 110.
And your teacher
20,
actually isn't your mom anymore.
You're like,
Wow.
what? I can't just, chat to them whenever I want,
Yeah.
I mean, you sort of can, but not really. So that was definitely a shift. And also like it was Christian high school, right? But in order to go to that Christian high school, the kids' parents needed to be Christians.
Yeah. It's
But
not
kids-
like a very strong prerequisite.
No, it's not like you have to fill out a huge form or
And get
something.
pastoral references and
Not to my knowledge, at least. I obviously wasn't part of that process. But yeah, so a lot of the times, like the teachers were all Christians, to my knowledge at least, and a lot of the teaching therefore was done through a Christian lens.
Yeah.
But a lot of the kids, you look at a public school and you look at the kids and like, I don't see a difference here.
Yeah.
So that, like in hindsight, I guess we'll get into that later, but gave a little bit of prep for university. But in high school, it was definitely a change, like for sure. You enter high school for the first time and you're like, oh my goodness, there are people everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sitting in the lunchroom for the first day or first week and you're like, absolutely no one. Like I I had two friends, one in grade 11 and one in grade 12
Right.
that I knew who were also homeschooled before me. But besides that, I knew no one. So it's kind of freaky there, but you get used to it, right?
Yeah.
Over time.
Did your mom or like your parents like prep you for that social atmosphere? Like, did you grow up doing like sports and stuff?
No, we had the most, like, I wouldn't call it like sheltered when I was a kid, but no, we didn't do a whole lot of sports, but a lot of, like, I guess socialization, if you want to put it that way,
Okay.
was through youth groups.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, there was one, I guess it's sort of a youth group / Christian club thing. It was called Awana, AWANA, that we went to, and that was,
Was it like
intro
part
to
of a
socialization.
church?
Not directly. It was at a church, but it wasn't like from the church. It was a
Interesting.
organization, sort of like, I don't know, like a Boy Scouts or Scouts type program thing
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was just Christian.
When you were growing up, were your parents rooted in one church? Did they move around? What was church life like?
For the first, like, I don't know, 9 years of my life, we went to one church down towards the airport. And then we left for one reason or another. And at that point, we just started start church hopping. Like, we'll try this church out for like 6 months. Then we'll move to this church. Trying to find one that we liked. And so that happened for a while. So never got like fully planted in a
Yeah.
church community over sort of my, I guess, early teen years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and then we moved from the house that we were living in up further north, like, I don't know, another half hour, which uprooted us from the church we were going to at that point, because then it just became too far to drive. It was like, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes or something like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
And so, yeah, we didn't go to that church anymore. And then COVID hit, and so
Yeah.
couldn't go to church anymore, other than online. And so it was just for most of before university, like,
Just not necessarily grounded.
not grounded in a
in
specific
community.
church. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What was their basis for, like, when they were church hopping? What do you know, like, what exactly they were looking for?
Not really, honestly. I don't know if I ever asked that question to them. In hindsight, I probably should have.
Well, how old were you?
When it started, 10,
Yeah.
probably couldn't care less at that point. But yeah, like, it continued for a while, and
Yeah.
eventually you just sort of like, oh, do they like it? No? Okay, well, I guess we're going somewhere else. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so high school. Like, there's the socialization of now going to like an actual high school, as a Christian high school. Then again, COVID hit, and then university
Yep.
brings us, seems like a pretty natural transition to you starting at Mac. What was that transition like? And you put off church for a little bit. Tell us about that.
So yeah, high school ended on sort of the tailish end of COVID, and then university. Going into it, I wasn't like super concerned about it. My mentality, I was kind of indifferent. I was like, oh, it's just a bunch of new people. I did this once in high school. I can do it again in university. It's not a huge deal. And then welcome week starts. I'm like, that's a lot of, this is different. This is different.
Because what year did you go into first year?
2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So was that the first like in-person welcome week after COVID?
Yeah.
May have been. I'm not
It
sure.
was.
Because that was the one where there was one where there were masks, and then I think that was the one when they like scrapped the masks
Yeah, it was
like
the,
full blown.
because that was
When you were maroon.
when I was a maroon, so going
Yeah.
into fourth year. Yeah, that was fully, yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, continue.
So it was definitely a bit of a shock. You live, instead of, just with your family, you live in a building with,
What res did you move
Well, I was in
into?
Brandon, so
Ugh.
Oh,
very
okay.
did
that's
not
tough.
did not enjoy that.
That sucks.
We're on the second floor, and that.
Sorry to everyone in Brandon.
Yeah, sorry about that, but no, thank you. Yeah, So yeah, it was definitely very different. You have all these. You start out with, you get out of the car and everyone's like cheering at you. They have all the red suits, the engineering people, doing these chants that you can't understand, and you're like, okay, this is a very, very different environment here. Is this a cult? What's going on? And then they knight you with a sword later. It's like, engineers are
just wild,
strange people, and I'm one of them. So yeah, I guess that. I'm a strange person too, I guess. Yeah. So welcome week comes to a close. I'm like, okay, now it's time to get started with university. And then classes start, and it just becomes like a whirlwind. Like everything's you got classes you're going to. Content overload. Got
you're
5.
Like, what can I actually get done? What do I have to prioritize?
Yeah.
What's like the required readings that aren't really required readings?
Yeah. You're like, okay, am I going to be as studious as I was in high school, or am I going to let things slide a little bit? Like, what's the play here? So it's just really chaotic, and I was going through a breakup at the time as well, so that kind of added to the whirlwind. So I was kind of left at the point like, okay, where do I go from here? Like, I got sort of a smorgasbord of opportunities in front of me. Yeah. All these clubs I can join and things like that. So it was a time. It was a time for sure.
Yeah. So it was kind of, you were saying, first Sunday rolls around, you got some studying to do.
Yeah.
You've been, you heard about Lyft before you actually came.
Correct. Yeah.
It was through, like a friend.
Yeah.
It was through a friend whose sister went to Lyft. Anyways. But yeah, first Sunday rolls around, you've heard about it, not really motivated to go, just out of procrastination. Was it out of like...
It was kind of a combination of a lot of things. Like you said, I heard about it through a friend from high school. Her sister goes to Lyft. And
shout out Muskoka.
Yeah. So I heard about it, and I was like, okay, this is the first Sunday, and sort of I'm in my room. I have like some sort of math assignment or something like that going on. I'm like, okay, I'll get this done. And then it's 3:00 rolls around, 3:30. I'm like, oh, should I go? Shouldn't I go? I'm kind of an introverted person, so I'm like, oh, do I really want to go? And a bunch of people, I have
so overwhelmed.
No one there. Like the first couple Sundays are kind of first year oriented a little bit.
Yeah.
So with hindsight, it would have been a lot easier than I thought it would have been at the time.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'll let it slide for the Sunday. I'll go next Sunday. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then that sort of mentality kept happening. Like, oh, let's go next Sunday. Go next Sunday, or you sleep in a bunch, and then you don't feel like doing anything for the rest of the day because you slept in too much.
Yeah.
That's so real.
It's
so many
it
times.
happens. Yeah. So it was. I didn't end up going to Lyft till like, I don't know, beginning of October.
Yeah.
Or something. So a whole month went by.
Yeah. Okay. You're in class. Start there.
Okay. This is how I got connected to a church group. So I'm in class. It's a class called Professional Communications. Along with my technical courses, I have to take 2 sort of business management courses alongside it. And those are always kind of the sucky ones. You're like, oh, I got to deal with this class is professional communications. Like, oh, I got to communicate professionally, I guess. Like, what's going on here? So I'm a couple minutes late to class. It's a big lecture hall. It's in the basement of L.R. Wilson. And I just kind of shuffle in the back right row. And I'm like, oh, say to this guy, like, hey, the seat taken? No, it's not taken. So I sit down. Class goes on a bit. They do an icebreaker, and it's basically just like, talk to the person next to you. It's like, oh, you're engineers. You got to learn how to talk to people. Go, So I get chatting with this guy a little bit, get to know each other. Class continues, end of class. Then my next class, I see this guy again. Sit down next to him, like, hey, I saw you last class. Oh, yeah. Then we talk a little bit more, kind of mutually bond over the joys of engineering and its pains. Both telling each other, like, this assignment is crazy. What are they thinking?
Yeah.
Then we, after class, we then grab lunch together at the food court at Musk, the student center. And we're just...
Who initiated that?
I can't remember, honestly. I think it was him.
Okay.
Maybe. Could have been me. I don't know. It was years ago.
It was an evangelism strategy.
There we go. I think we're just both trying to get lunch.
Yeah.
Let's get it. So we go. We're waiting for our food, and we're just chatting. And he says, mentions something about his church. I'm like, oh wait, you the church? You're a Christian? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm like, oh, I am too. He says, oh, I go to this church called Lift. I'm like, oh, Lift. I've heard of Lift. I've been meaning to go. I didn't tell him that I'd been procrastinating it, but I was like, oh, I've been meaning to go.
Things got stuff happened.
This life happens. But he was like, oh yeah, there's this thing called Simple Church that we do. We go to someone's house, and we just a group of guys, 6, 7, 8 people, and just sort of do a Bible study type thing. I'm like, oh, that sounds great. It's like you can come one week if you want. I'm like, oh, sure. So the next Thursday, I think it was Tuesday, Thursday, something like that. I go out to Simple Church with at the time Max and Evan. And yeah, I really liked it, loved it. Like this is great. It's just a bunch of guys that are around my age that are in university, and we're just talking Bible stuff and Christianity and getting
We're
to know
talking
God.
Bible
We're
stuff.
talking Bible stuff, Then, yeah, so I just went to Simple Church for a couple times. Didn't actually make it out to service for a while because as a first year, I would go home kind of every other weekend type thing.
Yeah. And too, like you're saying, being a bit more of an introverted person, like you're probably drawn to the like relational aspect of Simple Church. And in reality, like that's like the relationship is such an important part.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
In
For
discipleship, like that small group is so needed. It's so emphasized. It's why it's so emphasized in our church too.
Yeah, you get to know people on like a one-on-one basis really, really well. Yeah, and so eventually made out to service, and then it's just sort of gone from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's cool to see how it all starts with relationship.
Yeah.
How one invitation can be as easy as, hey, it's a group of guys coming together. We maybe have something to eat, maybe have a meal, maybe you don't. But we're coming together. We're talking about the Bible. We're asking questions. We're hanging out. It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on out.
It was really simple. He says,
Yeah.
You want to come? I'm like, sure, I'll come.
And
Got nothing else to do.
And he probably, like, you never know when you're putting out the invitation.
Like how they're going to respond.
You never know how they're going to respond. You also never know how the Lord is already working in that season in their life when you put out that invitation. Because for you, for example, all you needed was that tiny little prompt of like, okay, a relationship that's just starting to form. Oh, there's an invitation there. Yeah. Like I've been meaning to do that. So I will.
Sort of just a little kick in the butt to get you moving.
They're like the overly ripe fruit.
Yeah. It's right there.
Invitation. Oh, there we go. Didn't even have to pick it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I'm very grateful for that invitation. Now that dude's one of my best friends, shout out to Mish. But yeah, and the group of guys I met there at Simple Church are now some of my closest friends here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
How have you seen like the power of invitation like play in your life in this season? Like, has it been something that you like kind of saw like when it happened? You're like, wow, I want to carry this forward and like share God's grace with other people in the same way.
Yeah. I didn't realize how like instrumental it had been until I think we were doing sort of a testimony night, sort of similar to this actually, at Simple Church last year. Then as I was sort of prepping for it, I thought to myself, oh, wait, it was as simple as that. It was just an invitation. Then from that point on, I kind of realized, oh, if this is how I got invited, then this is probably a good strategy to invite other people and get them involved. So whenever I can, I try to invite people out because, in university, it can be tough to find a community, right? Especially a Christian community. Those are sort of far and few between.
Yeah.
And so just someone, like, they may not even know it exists. They may just be dragging their feet like I was, but, you know, just inviting someone out can be really powerful.
Yeah.
And they may not always come. I've had instances where I've invited someone out and never seen them. But, you know, you can't be discouraged by that. You gotta, you know, gotta say, hey, you know, come out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know where the Lord's going to take, like, that small little seed that you planted in that person's mind.
So facts.
It's like, I think it's so humbling to be like, okay, we'll be the worker that, like, plants that seed, and then we just give it to God. Like, we just say, like, Lord, take this seed. Like, I give it to you with open hands. Yeah. Work in their life as you will.
You're the tool. You only see the very front of it. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's even like emphasis on, like, the practicality of, like, when someone says no, like, it doesn't mean you, like, stop talking to them. No, they're, like, still your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, they're not there as just, like, a mission. Like,
No.
Not at all.
No.
Like, oh, you didn't say yes there, and, you know, I'm done
Off
with you.
to the next.
Off to the next. No, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think it's so important because, like, maybe someone who doesn't have a background of faith that you had, the invitation process might look so different. Like, there might need to be a lot more trust that's built in a friendship before an invitation would even be received well.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
And just, like, just being able to, like, be open and, like, ready and willing to share your testimony, and even just to say, like, as simple as putting out the invitation, hey, I go to this church, it's pretty cool, we have this going on, we have, like, knowing kind of what, if there's any events, if there's any hangouts, whatever, like, understanding what's happening in the life of the church, to be like, what could interest you that I could invite you to. But yeah, sometimes it's just as simple as, hey, I'd love for you to come.
Yeah.
Come on out one night.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, like, I think another thing too could be, if that doesn't happen or it doesn't come to fruition, just following up a little bit. Like, hey, missed you tonight.
Yeah. Sort of be
What's
the
up?
squeaky wheel a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? But even if they never end up coming out, you know, it's like you're God's tool in this situation. Like, you're one piece of the puzzle. Maybe this is something that, you know, 20 years from now in their life, they'll be like, oh, I heard about this back when I was in university or wherever they were.
Yeah.
So you just see the front end of it. You don't. So it's easy to get discouraged if it doesn't end up playing out how you think it would have played out. So it's just helpful to, like, kind of remind yourself in that situation that you don't see all parts of the puzzle, and you don't need to, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Man, God's got the rest. He knows what's going on, and maybe you just need to keep asking a couple times. Maybe it never ends up happening. But just kind of understanding our scope of our role, and our role is to be open and to be inviting, and to live our life with open hands for the people around us, and not just, like, wanting to keep our community closed off to ourselves. No, we aren't called to, you know, hide it under a basket, you know, as Jesus says.
That's great.
Spreading it is definitely important.
Dang. Get this guy up on the Sunday, man.
No.
Cooking.
Nah.
That's good.
Wow. No, that's dope, Josh. I think, your testimony's very, I feel like a lot of first years, like, feel this, and it's a very, like, instrumental thing that I think a lot of us overlook. It's like that little invitation and that little seed. Yeah. And how far that can go.
Yeah. Last point I want to touch on before we head off here. So you grew up, just kind of bringing it full circle, you grew up in a Christian household, you grew up being homeschooled. Your mom kind of prompted a lot of your reading of the scripture, and therefore, like, probably prompted your relationship with Christ
Yep.
in a way, and kind of moving onto university and getting into a church community, and kind of the process of like, making your faith your own, and becoming more reliant on the Holy Spirit, like yourself, and that not being prompted.
Yeah.
How did that start to look?
Yeah, for sure. Like, well, when I was a kid, like my faith was not my own faith, at all. It was sort of a function of my parents. But then as I went to university, that's sort of when the rubber hit the road, and it's really an important step that I think, people coming to university are going to need to make. Like you learn the most and build the most relationship with God when you do it for your own for the first time. When you sit down and read the scriptures and with a desire to sort of understand it from, what it's telling you, what God's saying to you, it's for sure a really important step. And that's where I've grown the most in my faith over the past 2 years. Well, not 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah. And when it goes from like reading just to read and just to get it done to like reading, knowing that the word is alive and applicable, and you can like internalize it and utilize all the fruit, and
absolutely.
Knowing the power of it changes the game. That's good. Okay, so we're just normally, to finish off, we just kind of ask for is there anything we can pray for you about in this season?
Probably just like time management, I guess. Like, got 6 courses going, got some extracurriculars, which I have some leadership roles in, which are taking up a large amount of my time. Hunting for co-op for the winter and summer. So I guess just prayers for time management on that, and not like putting my faith aside, kind of chucking it to the wayside and keeping that the focus and everything else secondary.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bless that.
Yeah.
Dear God, I thank you for our brother Josh and the encouragement that your work in his life serves to us, to know that we are just tools in your plans, and that you always make a way for your fruit to come to be harvested. And I thank you that there's just so much perfection in your timing. I thank you that you've just blessed him with a friend in Amish, and that his faith can be built on you as his secure foundation, and he can call it his own. And I pray that in this season, as he enters his 3rd year, God, that you would be at the center of it, that in the midst of school and co-op searching and extracurriculars that you have blessed him with, I pray that he would know that you are the cause of all those things, that he would first look to you and hold everything that you have blessed him with open hands, and just let you run with it, and that he would just humbly follow you. I pray that as he continues to walk alongside our church and with us, I pray that you'd help him be a friend like Amish was to him, and just be so eager to share your word, and invite those who may not know you or are around him, and maybe dragging their feet in their faith. God, I pray that you would give them courage and boldness, to make those invitations, to invite you into those conversations, and to just glorify your name with all that he does. I pray a blessing over this day and this week, as he has such a busy schedule every single week, especially every other Monday. And I thank you for my brother. Pray all these things in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Good. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up here. We had a great chat with Josh about just the power of invitation, sometimes the ease of invitation, and just really making your faith your own.
Yeah.
That was great. Thanks so much for coming in.
Appreciate
Thanks for
you,
having
Josh.
me.
Really enjoyed it. Awesome. Okay. Well, we'll end it off here. Thanks for watching, guys.
That's a wrap.
We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.